What should you do after you realize that you've been hacked? I had a new client that recently called me and prompted me to make this video. She was hacked, and it's one thing to know that your computer was hacked, but what if it was more than that? With so many wireless devices on everyone's network now, once a hacker gains access to one device, whether it's your computer or your phone, they're able to navigate through your entire network and take over everything that's connected to your wireless network. And it doesn't matter if it's wired or wireless, it's all the same. And every device it could get access to, including but not limited to, from your modem / router, all your computers, your cell phones, your tablets, if you got a smart TV, a smart fridge, smart thermostat, and even your home security system. Once a hacker is in your computer, who knows what they did? It could be that the way they contacted you was to just make a quick buck and trick you into fixing a problem that didn't really exist in the first place, or they could have just secretly hacked into your computer because they want to turn it into a zombie and join their botnet. And believe me, those are real technical terms. I'm Daniel from Twin Bytes, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about a game plan on what to do and how to do it and what order to do it in if you realize that you've been hacked. There won't be specific instructions really for each device because they're going to be a little different for each make and model, but you're going to have an overall game plan, which then, depending on what device you have, you can drill down further and get the specific instructions for those. And in case you don't know what a device is, if I'm referring to that word, is really just any computer, tablet, any of the things that I mentioned in that list before. It's something that has computing power that's able to connect to your network, either wired or wirelessly. Now, a quick disclaimer that this is just a guideline game plan to help you figure out what to do, how to do it, and so on. I can't really give you specific instructions for your unique situation, but you can use this to help guide you along and do the right thing in the right order. So as much as you might want to skip around through this video and just see the parts that are of interest to you, I strongly recommend that you watch this video from beginning to end so that you can really make sure you don't miss anything and you're not regretting it later, because this is not something you want to screw around with. Because if you do it wrong, you're maybe going to have to start all over again. So here's the game plan. The first thing is disconnecting everything from your network, wired and wireless. Every device, pull the plugs, turn off the Wi-Fi, turn off the device itself if you have to, but you want to make sure that it's disconnected from the network, because when you go to turn it on, you don't want it to automatically connect to the same wireless. So make sure when everything's disconnected from the network, wired and wireless, that you keep it disconnected until further notice later in this video. The first thing is your modem and router. If you don't have a modem / router all in one device and they're two separate devices, you want to make sure that those are also disconnected from each other. Normally you'll have a cable going from the modem to the router. We want to sever that connection temporarily, so when we're fixing these things, that the hacker won't be able to go from one back to the other one and reinfect each other. Now that everything's disconnected, we want to reset the modem to factory settings, and that would be it for the modem. But if the modem is an all-in-one, which is also a router, like a wireless router as well, then you're going to want to not only reset it to factory settings, but you got to reset up the wireless name or SSID and password or security key. But don't use the same username and password that you had previously. You're going to want to make them different. So that way, if any other device, hidden or unknown, was already connecting to that name, then when you have a different name, it's not going to be able to connect to it automatically. So we're taking an extra precaution that way, especially if the hacker happened to find out that information. We want that changed. Now, if you have a separate router that does the routing and wireless, then that's where you can set up the SSID and new password. And of course, make sure the name and password are completely different to what they were before. Don't just add a number or a symbol to the end because that's too easily guessed. Once that's done, if you had the modem and router as two separate devices, you can now plug the cable back in and connect those two together again. So you'll have wireless in your home or business. But don't connect any devices to that wireless or wired network yet. We've got to go through a lot more steps still. Now we're going to go through the devices one by one, and we're going to categorize them as well. So we can't go through every single possible different type of device that might connect to your network. But there's going to be a lot that will have the same type of instructions. So the first most obvious one is your computer. So with the computer, you want to back up your data, format the hard drive, reinstall Windows, reinstall your programs, run all the updates for the operating system, whether it's Windows updates or Mac, and install an antivirus program as well. Then once that's done, you can actually restore your data. If you have an image backup that you know is clean, you can use that, restore that image, and then once the image is restored, run all your Windows updates that are available, make sure your antivirus is up to date, and then you can restore the most current data that you had from the backup that you did earlier. Now your computer is done and you can reconnect it back to your wireless network or wired network, and that's it. If that's the only device that you have, then you're done with this. But you may have other devices, and also we'll have other tips and information for you near the end of this video, so you're going to want to stick around for that. If you have a cell phone or tablet, you're going to want to look at this. First, of course, back up all your photos, documents, whatever you have on your phone that isn't automatically synced to the cloud. If you use your phone for two-factor authentication, you're going to want to document all that information. Make sure you know what you got to set up, the two-factor sites, get your recovery codes in place. And if you're not confident about doing this, then you might want to just disable the two-factor authentication on all the websites that you're using while we go through all this. And then once it's up and running again, then you can re-enable two-factor authentication and set it up again. Once you've prepared your phone and documented everything, now you can reset it to factory settings, run all the updates, install an antivirus if you can, and reinstall your apps and restore the data, your photos, whatever, if you want to, and if you had anything on there before. Now you can connect your phone or tablet back to your wireless network and you're good to go. What about your smart devices, like your TV, your smart fridge, your smart thermostat, your home security system, or if it's a business? Doesn't matter if this is home or business, they're all going to be the same procedures here that we're discussing in this video. So whatever that device is, you're going to want to reset it to factory settings. You can call the manufacturer for instructions if you're not sure, or look it up online with your newly fresh, clean, and safe to use computer, tablet, or smartphone. Once that device is reset, you're going to want to check if it's got any firmware updates of any kind. Then you can safely reconnect that device back to your wireless or wired network. And that's it. Your entire network is now clean. But wait, cleaning it is just one thing. You're going to want to make sure that you don't have this happen again, especially the next day, because you just fell for the same trick again or whatever it was that happened. So there's a few things that you're going to want to do. One very simple thing that doesn't cost you anything is check out my security playlist. I've got a bunch of videos on there with more I'm adding to every week. So you might want to check that out and you'll find things that might apply to you and a lot of helpful tips and tricks. The short version is really making sure that you are always staying on top of your updates. Make sure you're always running your antivirus scans. Be careful of what you click on any emails and texts. Be suspicious of all those that come in. Don't fall for any fake phone calls that say they're from Microsoft or Google or any other company that says that they want to take money from you or they need to log into your computer. No one from any legitimate business would call you asking for money for anything or to log into your computer unless you're already doing business with them and you know who they are. But even then, Google and Microsoft would never call you, and it would only be somebody from a small IT firm who you already know and you're already doing business with. With that said, if you're running a business, you don't really have time to play around with learning how to do all these things and watching all the videos, and you probably would rather focus on growing your business. So in that case, you might be interested in looking at our managed IT services, and we're able to do a lot of this for you and reduce the risk. So that's it for this tutorial, and if you found it helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. Even better, give it a super thanks. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.